What's up, Voltblizzard here. Today I've got part 3 of Kirby 3D. This time the topic is gameplay alterations. Last time we talked about how the game works normally, and this time we will talk about the mechanics when the game plays through other sequences. These sequences are boss battles, warpstar writing, friend helpers, and finally, minigames. So, let's begin with bosses. The Kirby series has very fun and memorable bosses. You've got Wispy Woods, Kracko, Paint Roller, Meta Knight, and of course, DDD are some of the most memorable ones. On the just plain weird list, we have the Bloody Eye with wings, a Snow Ape that shoots Hadoukens, and the super awesome RPG computer. The first time I saw that thing, I thought it was the coolest boss ever. I'm not suggesting just rehashing old bosses, of course. Bring some new creativity to the table. For another weird one, try a giant dung beetle with 4 arms that punches you, jumps around, causes meteor showers, and flings its flaming testicles at you. Originality, my friends. It's hard to generalize how to make the bosses, since they are all so different. So instead I will just give a couple of examples based on past games. These are just suggestions, and can be altered in infinitely many ways to change the battle. I just want to get ideas flowing. So let's start with Wispy. Wispy Woods is pretty simple. He is stationary in the middle of the field, doing his normal deeds, dropping apples, bombs, and Gordos on your life. Maybe have some minions distracting you during the fight like in Kirby 64. Also, you can bring back the blowing and sucking attacks, and also the one attack where he shoves roots up your sphincter. Now for the innovation! His roots can also come out of the ground and swing around, forcing you to dodge jump rope style. Maybe as a final attack, he unavoidably sucks you up, and you must beat him down from the inside. Okay, I'm just spitballing ideas over here. Alright, let's try another one. How about Kracko? You know Kracko, right? A cloud with an eyeball that causes rain, lightning, and spawns enemies. You can fight him on a cloud platform that he can knock you off of, or even destroy parts of your platform with his attacks. For Kracko himself, his eye might move around his cloud, and if you just hit the cloud, it doesn't count. You must hit the bar. For additional attacks, Kracko might cause snow, and this makes your platform slippery. Instead of just aiming his lightning bolts at you, he could go into a frenzy and just spam thunderbolts everywhere. When attacking him, use beam to pull out his eye and then use melee on his eye, a la Morpho from Ocarina of Time. I would buy a game where you would do that. How about you? This might be getting a bit violent and ridiculous, but this is very interesting to me. I particularly want to see comments either expanding on Kracko and Wispy, or talking about other bosses from the past, or suggestions for the new guys. They're important too. You know, this section is really important because boss endurance mode must be as awesome as possible. Of course, one more obvious thing. Make sure the bosses aren't too short, too long, or too easy. I'm looking at you, Wispy. Phew. Now let's focus on warpstar writing. Yeah, you know when Kirby just launches off on one of these things, bypassing shit to get to a new area? This time we need to elaborate on this writing to make it a whole gameplay section. Firstly, not gonna make this like Kirby Air Ride. Instead, I was thinking more Star Fox style. Let me show you my idea on a virtual console controller again. The joystick moves, and the A button accelerates. Releasing it deaccelerates. B button will shoot, and X will let you get on and off. The warpstar in a nutshell is a flying ship that shoots stuff. Pretty simple. It can shoot stars like the Star Rod, lasers, or whatever else, I don't care. While flying around, you can find power-ups that let you shoot more stars at once in 3 directions, or just fire bigger stars. Getting on and off is a very important feature, because some levels can have a warp star, and you can explore with it, and perhaps do some secret finding as well. You know, go into the sky, find some nice treasure up there. You can't use abilities while riding it though. I would just say that's pushing it too far. You know, just imagine this, flying through space or air, shooting enemies while dodging things and collecting power-ups and health. Exploring around on it looking for secrets, or just getting from point A to point B. Basic stuff, but it would be a nice touch. Hell, some enemies could be riding warp stars, and you can knock them off and jack their ride. I know that is now Grand Theft Kirby, but who cares? That's a great idea. Okay, on to friend helpers. I am talking about Rick, Kook, Kine, and the like. You don't necessarily have to bring these guys back in particular. I just want to see some cool innovation to change the way of getting from point A to point B. Warpstar riding was one way of doing this, and this is another. I will just use Rick, Koo, and Kine as fantastic examples. Anyway, here's how it works. If Rick comes back, then you could ride on him over a spiky pit. If Rick dies, you would obviously die from falling in the spike pit as well. If Koo dies when you were flying with him, you would either be forced to backtrack and go get him again, or die, depending on what is underneath you, solid ground or death, lava, air, whatever. The controls of all of the helpers would be different, but simple. Perhaps X should also be used to get off and on one of these things as well. Both helpers and warpstars are nice ways to put some interesting things into the game, which increases the awesomeness levels. Being that it is Kirby, the awesomeness levels must always be higher than Lethal Lava Land's theme, which is pretty high. Now, on to the last section, Minigames! Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about this. It's not like I'm going to sit here and design all of the minigames, because making them isn't crazy hard. With all of the minigames we've seen previous Kirby games do, we can make a whole Kirby party series. The thing is, Kirby knows how to make good minigames, and all I'm asking is that you make more for some wacky multiplayer side fun. I hope that's not too much to ask. Speaking of multiplayer, there will be actual multiplayer modes in the game, in addition to the minigames. I will cover this in detail during part 7, so that'll be there. Next part, on the other hand, is on presentation, which is the graphics, music, interface, and overall polish on the game that makes it look awesome. So stay tuned for all of that. That does it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, you can like and favorite. If you have any thoughts about anything you saw in this video, drop a comment down below and share your thoughts. Stay updated for more episodes of Kirby 3D, as well as other video game stuff by subscribing if you haven't already. And with that, I will be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Voltblizzard, gonna just go leave and probably get a drink.